I just dyed my hair. This stuff has run out, and it says here dark brown mocha or mocha. Yeah, for sure. And then the next one I just unboxed it and put it through my hair. I basically did half and half because the other one just ran out. And this one just says medium brown mocha. Right? Mixed half of that overall and half of that. This bowl, and used a glove and just wiped it all the way through. Oh, did I tell you? Yeah, medium versus dark brown. I don't know if it's going to be the same. I've been thinking, should I just go back to a front partial because it's just a pain in the ass to have to shave the back of my head and everything. And then I started trying. Oh, okay. Now I just convinced myself from that reflection that that's not such a good idea. Maybe I should keep a full one forever now. Don't like it, but it's more effort. So this overall size, this full size out of the box hairpiece, which is 8 by 10 inches, fits better in this space that I've made. If I make it smaller, that's not going to fit exactly. And if I shave this out, however I'm going to do it, it's hard when you're shaving areas that are not bald, trying to make a bald patch. Like when you've got a shave zone, you sort of want to cover over some thinning so it all just blends. So I've got no hair here and some hair here, and it's all different, right? So I need to create a shave zone that is brushable, not just try and stick within the boundaries of the bald area. I want it to sit on my head like hair would if it were real. And you know, hair pieces don't behave like normal hair. If you get a brush at the start of a hair piece while you're brushing your overall hair, the brush will get stuck where the lip of the perimeter is, right? So I want to avoid all that by having an all-encompassing thing. But I don't like the scrotal effect of this all central wrinklage. But I did sit this on my head a couple of days ago, this skinny one, which was never really the right size. You can see how I attacked it to try to get bits of glue out of it or something at some point. It's got tears in it from tape removal. Basically need to remake one of these that's more accurate. I did find this older one, which is made out of that floppier, shittier plastic. So the thing is, when you order these things off Amazon, these hair dyeing caps, they're called. By the way, they're in the description below. You never know what the company's going to send you. Will they send you a flimsy, shitty one, which is basically really hard to trace, and it doesn't respring into the nice, thick latex style, or not? You don't know. And so I've sent back bunches of them. I thought I'd just dye this and go for a fresh start. I should wipe that off my forehead, but I don't want to. Yeah, definitely, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I dyed it for maybe an hour and a half. It's probably residual dye stuck on my skin that would make this look effectively darker, but it was grayer before, I can tell you. Am I going to continue doing this for the rest of my life? I don't know. I keep trying to think of a way to stick this whole setup in a backpack so you can kind of just wear it and you don't have to make the ceiling mount. But then I realized you can't move your head side, and you sort of could a little bit. You could maybe do that. Because if I held a handheld mirror, right, like this, I can barely see if I were to shave all this off. And I think that's what most of you do. Handheld mirror plus a wall mirror. Now, as for the tape, do I want to put tape on my new one? I don't know yet. It's tattered and old, and I'll probably want to be able to take it off. But then again, the whole reason I'm doing this is because I really want the hairpiece to feel part of my head again. And these other ones, because they're like post-it notes because of the tape, and also because they haven't actually gone inside the boundaries of my shave zone. They've been coming down over the edges because they're full size 8 by 10, and I'm considering a smaller shave zone. I mean, I'm actually lucky that this one's still around because it mostly fits in the gaps, right, that I've got. I think this is a little bit smaller. So there could be a whole perimeter of skin that's visible. This will definitely not stretch enough if I don't do it. The difficult thing for me is that I'm not actually, even though it looks like it with the lighting, I'm not actually bald here. I've just got recession, I mean, what do you call it? It's just thinning. I've got thinning here, mostly here, right? And then that will meet up eventually. But from, you know, when I've got full length hair here, it's not that bad. So I do have the option of going back to just having a front partial, which I can easily do with one mirror. Don't need any of this kit or backwards mirrors and all sorts of stuff. I could just straight up go back to a front partial, just there. Which is something I'm considering if I was to travel. See, the thing is, when I do the front partial, I've got these little corner things here which annoy me, which are always, you know, always a bit dirty, right in the corners, whereas with a full-size one, those corners just continue on all the way down the sides, right? But with the patoodlement problem, the crown problem, where they stitch like a fucking pineapple top on top of your head, there's also a lump. So I've got a lump there or a lump there. A lump there is weird, but when my hair's long enough, I can do all that. The other thing though, when I choose a full topper, I don't have to wait for this to grow long enough to cover over that seam, because I figure I need about 2 inches to cover that gap to make it look seamless, where the perimeter meets the natural bio hair. I'm just going to go ahead with what I've planned, which is to shave all of this off rather than just shave this off and let that grow back so I can do a front partial. Because it's hard to make these choices. For me, like I say, it's difficult because I've got to invent an area. I've got to invent it. And it's very difficult to put like tattoos all over your head, so you've got to shave within the lines. I looked into buying some henna, right, to mark it. Then I realized that black mark or brown mark all the way around there for the duration that I'm wearing it. And by the time I want to take it off, it'll have faded off. A henna tattoo is a temporary tattoo. I think they last for 3 weeks. It could mean that, after 3 weeks it's still faint enough that I can still see, but the hair will have grown back over the top of that tattoo by then. And I've got to peer through where the hell is the line. It's probably better than nothing if I wanted a line there, but do I want a line there? Probably not. So it's not better than nothing. Nothing is actually better in this case, I think. So I'm going to put I just had a shower, wash the dye out of my hair and everything. Now I'm going to put some shaving cream, which is just conditioner, onto my shave zone. And because of the accuracy I need, I'm going straight for the safety razor rather than the electric razor. And I'll just keep tapping it in the sink to empty it. Now these have pretty fat sides, same as me, right? We match. And then I'm gonna just try to get it all through. I'm glad I wiped off the excess dye, so it's not super black and hard to see now. But what is hard to see is that screen because my eyesight's shit, so I'm gonna wear these. Actually, no, I'm gonna wear these. To get the razor blade hot. Just steam everything up. Mostly not steam up my glasses. Alright, maybe I can take off some of the excess to begin with. Problem is though, see, if I use a shaver and I don't get to the edge, it confuses me where that edge is. So if I'm going to do this, I have to start at the edge. The other thing is, I don't think this is actually low enough for 10 inches. I think this is only like 9.5 inches to there. So I might have to go down a bit deeper. I'm not going to guess that though. Right, so here's the thing. What I just planned before to make sure that I didn't miss the edges, it can't work properly because my hair's too long, and this is gonna take ages to just, you know, go back and forth. So I'm just gonna be careful and aim with this more carefully along the edges. Is this edge getting conditioner all over it? Yeah, a bit, not a problem. I'll just rinse it under the tap. I'll unplug it first, but it's only, I don't know, less than 12 volts probably. 7.5 volts, probably 1 amp. It's 7.5 watts, not gonna hurt me. I think my body produces like 3 volts. I don't know, the human body does produce something. Although in the Matrix, when they do use humans as batteries, they've got to feed them, so it's a waste. They should just use the food as fuel for themselves. It's just silly. It doesn't matter. Okay, the left-hand side is always way more difficult, so I'm going to flip this screen. So it's the opposite. Okay, so it's backwards, right? That's my left hand. So hopefully this will be okay. If it's not okay, I might have to resort to just using a handheld razor. Now this was my battery-powered shaver clippers. I would just keep it switched on, and so the blades are going like that while they were under the tap. But this one I'm going to unplug it from the wall, just so I don't damage the circuitry. Clean. I'm going to empty that.
That's definitely wrong. Should. Nothing. What are you?
Look at these steps. So wrong. So I'm talking about, I mean, I've got to invent this. There's no line marking on my head to tell me. All I can do is keep putting the headpiece on and off. This side definitely looks lower at this point than this side, so maybe this will be needing to, I'm gonna put this on my head. I'm sweating like crazy. By the way, I'll just clean my head a little bit. There's some chance that thing will be clean by the time I put it on. Right, yeah, that is about half an inch more I need to shave out of there. There's the betootlement without any hairspray or anything. It feels, because it's just flat, it really doesn't cup around the head very much compared to one of these. with the size difference. This has about an inch taken off each side by comparison to that other one. And if the camera angle didn't show that, it's your fault. Right. See if the sides at least fit. This side, I feel like it's centered. Okay. Just make sure that's low enough on the front forehead, that being too high or low. Right spot. Okay, so supposedly we're going to chop that off there, or I could make this shorter if I feel like where my crown would naturally be. It looks like the hairs are all doing a spiral around that area somewhere. So if I did make this hairpiece shorter, which is not corresponding with that, by the way, it's about there. Potentially, I won't stick with 10 inches, I'd just go to that point. But I really want it to be able to flow down, and I don't want anybody to be seeing up into there. So if the head curves downwards, I want the hairs to go downwards. I don't want, because I sit on pillows a lot, sit against the back of a chair with my head a lot. And if there's ever any division at the back, it flays up and then my head's exposed and that's exposed. I don't want glue and scalp to be seen. I'd rather it split somewhere on I'd rather it got messed up somewhere within the confines of the hairpiece itself. Which is why I might decide to shave that rather than snip that. Now let's look at the sides. Mostly more or less okay. This is just my first try, so I'm not going to go crazy with accuracy. But I want to be more accurate than this though. Alright, so if I pull that down on that side there, what's happening? Hold that. What's happening now on this side? Seems perfect. And this join here at the front seems okay. And let's join at the front corner. Will hopefully be okay. All right, now it's got some residue of glue and stuff on it. It's been torn from having tape on it in the past. I think I will go with tape for this one. Sorry, with glue for this one. You saw the mess I made the last few times I tried to use a finger cut. Because basically I just used my squeeze bottle, which is much better than using the brush from here. Every time you take the brush out of here, there's a big spaghetti mozzarella cheese thing that just goes from this bottle all the way to the brush, and you got to wind around in circles and make sure it doesn't drip, and then do a tiny bit, then go back for the bottles, make sure it doesn't drip, come back. When you've got it in this bottle, you can squeeze it, not to the extent that I have, just dabs, right, with one hand, if this is pinned down. So you need 4 hands for this, right, 4 hands. 2 of them will be here, right? One will be the mannequin head, another one will be a pin to hold it. That's 2 hands. Understand what I'm saying? If you need to, you can have more than one pin, you can have multiple pins. Then you need 2 hands on top of that. One to apply the glue, and the other one to spread the glue. Okay? Most things you do in life require more than 2 hands, which is why it takes you a while to get things done, right? Because you're limited to 2 hands and you're fucked. If you've got 2 people, a lot of things in life, if you've got a competent friend or family member, you can get so much more done. I have never really had that luxury, ever. I mean, I have in the past, very rarely though. Very, very rarely. Most things I've had to do myself. Some things that would normally take 3 or 4 people, I've just had to get it fucking done. Now, on this thing, their hair's all coming in around the edges, so I'm going to clean that up. This would be easier with 3 hands, so 4 hands. Sorry. So I'm going to put a pivot pin in there so somebody's holding it for me. Thanks. Now, try not to brush that hole. Just trying to get all the hairs that are stuck. Oh shit, there's another hole right there at the very front. Try to make sure not to push hairs through that. It's almost tempting to use tape just so I can heal it, but that is the front hairline, and I would love to get a brush back look this first go, but I don't think that's possible with such a torn hairpiece. Having remaining glue on a hairpiece when you add more glue to a hairpiece is going to lessen the holes because it's going to wobble on top of its previous layer rather than have a direct linking teeth of glue effect as the glue burrows down and locks into the hairpiece. See, the thing is, I will lift this hairpiece occasionally to adjust it, and when I do that, it will tear. But if it had tape, it might not tear because it could remain taped together. So even if I do decide to put glue all over this, I should at least try to tape up some of these giant holes. Now that's fucked. If that ever happens, throw it away. Okay? There's no point trying to salvage that. Now, when you're trying to press this tape, when it's got curling up edges and stuff, you just press it using this bit that came off the back of it. This is the tool. It becomes a tool, okay? You use that to just do whatever you want to get it down. 2 little patches now. As for the rest, if I pour this all over there and think, yeah, okay, that'll give me heaps of glue, now I won't have to worry about coming back and doing it more and more and more all the time. Probably not a good idea. Every time I've done it, I've failed and glue has gone into the hairs. I'm going to put on a finger cut. Open that. Hopefully there's no glue blocking that so it'll not come and then all come at once. This is the front hairline. Now something that will help me with all of this is don't tempt gravity. So I'll put this further back so that just watch from there, okay? I'm going to put it up here a bit. See, the amount of glue I've just put here is kind of insignificant and it's all just localized around here and now the glue's run out. Whereas if it was tape, that much glue would probably be what is contained within the entire tape because they place it so thinly and accurately, but it does end up being like a post-it note. This one will be thicker, have more grip in. It would be even better if I'd shaved my scalp properly, but I don't know if I can be bothered doing that. In fact, I know I can't. This room is currently 26 degrees Celsius. Alexa, what's 26 degrees in Fahrenheit?
26 degrees Celsius is 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit.
It also doesn't help that there are hairs that I couldn't quite get out from being stuck on the back of this thing. This is the front hairline, the most important part of the hairpiece. And I'm not able to get a decent amount of thickness here. I'm going to try pouring onto my finger. The finger becomes a mozzarella string, by the way. So always keep it pointed up away from the hairs and stuff so it doesn't fall in. I'm just going to keep going around the edge. You're probably thinking the brush, just use the freaking brush. Not yet. I might later. I don't know. I've got good accuracy with this finger thing. Cot. Something else that I'm going to finally be free of with this version is bubbles. Big gaps, like over the, see there, it's got quadrants of just air gaps in between the bits that stick down. I'm sick of that. I want it secure so that I can just jump out of a plane and I know it's not going to come off. I don't care if I die, just as long as I'm not bald when I'm dead. I jumped out of a plane once with a static line. That means the ripcord is attached to the plane. We still had to do 2 days of safety training. Another alternative, if you haven't had any experience or don't have a license or whatever you need to jump out of a plane and pull your own ripcord, is tandem. So for me, with the static line, I jumped from only like 3,000 feet and then it just fell. I think with tandem, when you're strapped to your instructor, you will fall probably 7,000 feet free fall. I jumped out of a plane of my own volition. I went 3, 2, 1, jump, and I was the first out of the plane. The whole time going up, I was holding on the edge of the plane, trying to fall out. And then it's all right, jump out of the plane now. Okay, bye. I said to do it. And then, because I knew if I stopped and thought, because I did go bungee jumping years later, and I did stop myself, and that was fucked. Don't stop yourself. It's much worse when you hesitate. Because it feels like you're committing suicide. It really feels like that. It's fucking scary. Like, goodbye cruel world, right? Say your prayers, that's it. Speaking about saying prayers, I just watched Beast Games. I could not believe how many times Jesus was invoked. Like, I mean, I've been to America and I've seen some religious stuff, but I had no idea it was all pervasive throughout society, how religious you people are. It's fucking amazing. Like, I went to a Catholic school, I went to church, I prayed to Jesus every day. But it wasn't something you would just do openly in the public to like sort of show, are you one of us? It was a weird fucking, praise Jesus, 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 right? Fucking hell. Like, it took me a long time, despite, you know, being in Mensa and being intelligent and everything, right? For me to go, he's just not responding, right? The bearded human ape creature who created the universe specifically for us and everything else is just a toy for our amusement. By the way, I am getting glue in their hairs using this method. This is not accurate. Worth a try. This is not accurate. I need a different brush. I need disposable brushes. I'm gonna go get some lipstick applicators. Found some. Now look at the edges. It's definitely like a an accuracy side to it. Gotta get this stuff off my finger. When I removed the finger cut, I got glue on there. Now I don't want glue on my fingers, so I'm just gonna put some gloves on. Bend over. Pleased to meet you, Ben. Okay. I don't know if you can see from there, there's a fair bit of mess. And that wasn't caused by this stuff dribbling down because I wasn't fast enough. Let's see if this is okay. This is probably the most precise way to do it. Definitely better than any of the brushes that come covered in glue out of the packet. I don't know if I'm applying enough glue right now to the edges. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking the new system might be if I make it out of here. Because I want the glue to be in the center as well, I might just use the gloves I'm wearing at the end to smush it around at the center. But I would always maybe start with the lipstick applicator. And just remember, it does matter. It matters what angle the mannequin the hairpiece is sitting on the mannequin head, so it will reduce the fall, reduce the drooping because of gravity, right? This is still taking a stupidly long time. I feel like, you know, I'd be more than halfway with the tape if I'd used the tape by now. So I'm not sure if this is the fastest method. Could be that going back to the brush is the best, even though it is covered in glue initially. This is very accurate what I'm doing, very accurate, but slow. It's slow. I'm not putting out enough glue at a time. Or I am putting up too much glue compared to how much tape would give me. But then again, tape does not stick as well as glue does. It sticks okay. But it's not. This is the front hairline. I just put a huge dab of glue there, and it's gone in like less than a second. Between there and there, it's just faded into the hairpiece. I need more. I mean, I need more at a time without it dripping all over the place. I feel like I got the edges. And by tugging on this pin up here, I put a little hole in it. Not as bad as these other holes from tape removal. There's one of the patches and the other patches at the back. Now with this, there's been covered in glue, right? So I'm just going to put it on a tissue on the table. Now, for the rest, the pin has to come out and it has to just balance. And I'm just going to maybe finger paint before anything drips all over the place. Now there'll be some grip on my finger from dried glue. But I feel like just a general kind of amount. I definitely have good control over not letting there be lumps. And then once it's too dry, it's stuck. It's another glue joke for you there. Okay. This was not in the brochure. They love me, they really love me. Okay, I'm dry now, and this is dry too. Bit cobwebby around the back area there, that's gonna be a bit messy. But as we know, it's gonna protrude down until I decide whether to shave that or to snip that, that, on future hair pieces. This whole thing's been smothered with glue all over. It has not been pre-cut by the factory. I cut this one myself. You'll notice the haircut's pretty messy. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, I can see, because there are some still 5-inch long hairs sticking out the back here. This will be interesting. I'm going to totally have full contact with all of my scalp. It would have been probably better if I had shaved this all the way down with the safety razor. Is that what this is called? With a razor. And then there's going to be some bit of curling and stuff going on here. One sticking in here, let's get glue all over it, just pull it out. Okay, I'm going to add extra, because I know how much depth there is to the glue here. I'm going to add a bit more. Also, I'm going to come in from behind and slide forward. I bet you say that to all the girls. Yes, I do. So I'm going to press that back there and then just shove it on top of you like that. Oh, God. Just make sure it doesn't get all slimy, because, you know, we've got to meet your parents later. All right, one second. It's a lot heavier with lots of glue all over it. You still see that back hang bit, which is an imperfection. I'm going to run the back and sides here and check this out. See, this is why this whole thing wouldn't work as a backpack very well. Because I need to move, I need to sidestep and stuff, and if this whole camera system was stuck in a backpack, it would have been wasting my time to invent it, because it can't compete with having a stationary camera either just on a tripod or coming out of the ceiling. But coming out of the ceiling is definitely the best, because it's totally not in the floor, because I'm standing all around here, right? I'm walking around and standing, and the camera mount is in the ceiling out of my way. It was all I could really do. I don't want any big bloody exposed bits of scalp. Now it's stuck. It's too late to make any changes pretty much. Whereas the whole thing needs to move about 2 millimeters that way. And hopefully all the hairs will just cover over any of that. So that feels very firm and unbubbly. Man, compared to having gigantic air pocket bubbles throughout the whole piece, this full attachment with glue, there's none of that fucking scratchy sound of rain jacketage. Because I've shrunk this down so it doesn't keep protruding all the way down here. It's conforming better with my head without me even having styled it yet. At the back there's going to be an overhang bit which is going to just do all that shit. That should be shorter, but then again so should the hairpiece itself. If there's not a problem, I will be making my hairpiece smaller and keeping my shave zone smaller. Although, probably should shave all of that off. How is the back of my neck going? Not too messy. Alright. Nothing I can do about the bad stitch job there. Unless I went back to a front partial or started buying those full poly sewn hairpieces with knots. Like the ones, like the Mirage that I made a review for. One of the best videos I've ever made, if you haven't already watched that. The Le Vivid Neo Mirage review. Yeah, definitely, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, that is the main one I would say you should ever watch out of everything. Because I don't just talk about that, I talk about everything. In great, like a school teacher telling you everything about the problems with what hairpieces, the limitations of hairpieces, basically to do with what manufacturers give us. Okay? It's not hard to find, just click on my channel and go to my channel and look at one of the most recent videos from the last year. Alright, that feels very secure. Let's hope it landed in a good spot at the front, and let's hope this, where it meets here and here, is good. Because if it is all good, I'm going to try and brush it back, give myself a brush back look. I'm just going to put a few things away. Put it off the sensor. Hey, if you're that fast, you can rob a house. Alright, I just ordered a whole bunch of sprays and things. Like the other spray that I had ran out. It's my favorite fucking spray. It smells like how water should taste, I guess. It's like a beautiful tropical forest. Not like Pino Clean. It smells really good. This is the best smelling thing there is in the world. Buy it just so you can sniff it. It's in, well, I don't know if it's in the description below. It might be. If it is, find it so that I can get some kind of, so I can get 3 cents for the 10,000 years of work I just did to make these videos. Alright, there you go. But I couldn't find it for sale on Amazon, so it's probably not in there. Now this is an old used hairpiece with holes all through it, by the way. So the chances that I should be able to achieve a nice front brush back look with a nice hairline are low. Just looking at chunks of dirt and stuff. There was some curling when I applied that glue at the front. Yeah, so in terms of applying the glue using that finger cut system, I'd say don't worry about it because your finger can't get down as nicely as that in a finger cut. If you are going to glue an entire hair system instead of taping it so that you can get it off easily, I still haven't run any experiments to see what it's like to, you know, boil these things in a vat of hot water on the stove or any other kind of hot water, apart from the fact that I shower with them basically every day and they never detach from the tape at all, despite people adamantly saying, yeah, just put it in hot water to get the tape off. I don't know about that. So far, like me having 100 showers at least since I've started using tape, I don't know. It has never detached one iota from the hairpiece. That's because it was facing down on your head. It needs to be facing the water. I can promise you it crept in on the edges when I was showering and rubbing my head through my hands through my hair. Shampoo, conditioner, hot, very hot water in there in the shower. Didn't lift fucking anything, right? You would think if that hot water theory was correct, it would have lifted all the way around the edge on every single hairpiece. The tape would have. I think people just type shit without doing any tests. Like I say, there's a fucking, in the top right corner of YouTube, if you're a normal person, or down the bottom of your fucking telephone, if you watch YouTube on a telephone, there's a plus button. Just film yourself fucking getting tape off a hairpiece with hot water if you think that's really true. And just show us how it's done. But going back to reality, if you're gonna put like glue instead of tape, which doesn't ever come off a hairpiece without ripping it, use this around the edges. Use one of these probably rather than... See, the thing about this is I can place a blob onto the hairpiece while it's sitting on the mannequin head, and I have good control over that puddle, right? Now, pouring or using the brush in any way from this thing is going to be all messy. Just take these things and transfer them into these things. They don't dry out because the lid's really secure, like airtight. You can tighten it, right, as well, properly. And then take one of these lipstick applicators. You get bags of them off the internet. I probably sent a link for it. That'll be 1 cent for me if you click the affiliate link and buy it through that way. That's better than any brush that comes from Wall Tape Company, by far. And then at the end, you throw it out. And the whole thing isn't just smothered in glue because it goes back in the jar. Nothing. It's just all clean, right? If you do want to be an asshole to the environment, get gloves. And then you don't have to get your hands all dirty during this whole process. And also, the glove acts as a, I like apples, when you're doing the center of the hairpiece. Now that's not a brush back look yet. I'm just still positioning it. Now, a lot of the main factor of brush back look is the knots bleached, or is there any exposed base? There looks like a giant chunk of exposed base there where I snipped off hairs and didn't go all the way to the edge, and I'm not gonna do that, which means, because I don't want to shrink this now. Okay, I've got good hold for the next 2 weeks at least. And even when my head does heat up and this does pull up, it's not like tape where it's a post-it note and barely holds again. This stuff will stay so thick and creamy all around inside, right? That when it does lift up, I'll just push it back down again. Then jump out of a plane and it won't come off. It won't be as strong as kind of now, because the more you lift and place back down, I'm assuming, think about this, okay? You don't have to think, I'll draw it for you. Here's my theory about how glue works, okay? When the glue first is applied, it's like this. Down into your scalp, okay? The little bumps inside, this is your scalp, right? And that's the glue. Now when you lift it up, when you lift the glue up, it becomes more like this, because you've squished it down, and now that's trying to stab into these bits. And it can't stab very far anymore, right? It can't stab in properly. It's been lifted and flattened. Whereas you once had these gorgeous blobs of glue coming down and really wanting to splob in, like right now in this situation, you just saw me do it. If I lift it up, those blobs are like, huh? And then I'll push them back down and go splump, and they'll get squished, so they won't be nice anymore. Okay? So that's what I think is happening. And the more you do it, the more these splobs just turn into something more along the lines of this, right? And then that's trying to stick to the microscopic inundations in your scalp. So the first time you apply glue is 1,000 times stronger than removal and reapplication. What happens when you add alcohol spray to the glue? Does that kind of wreck it? I'd say no, because the shape remains the same. You're just stopping it from being really sort of juicy yet, and when it dries, it'll still be juicy again. So I don't think the alcohol's fucking it. That's my theory. And it's not a very strong theory or a good explanation, but in my imagination, that is a good enough rationale for all of this. So, can I do a brush back look? No, I just have an overexposed base. So no. What about this bit? Why isn't that sticking down properly? Maybe that's where I used the finger cut or something else and I didn't put enough glue there. How is this joining up here on the edges where my natural bio hair meets? Is it good? There should be a fair bit of hairpiece stuck to actual hair, which means this back bit will flop around too much until I do something about that. But so far that's not noticeable. And on this side, trying to see where it meets up. It looks like it's a pretty good fit, even though it's not exactly right, but I think it's okay. So I think I found my new kind of stencil size. This obviously needs a haircut or some kind of, I don't know. I don't want to have to deal with hair cutting anymore, right? I think I've moved past that by ordering hair pieces that are pre-cut. So in the future, I mean, any of these, if I do somehow salvage them from the evil grasp of the, tape, using hot water. Which one of these am I willing to dunk in hot water right now to test out this person's theory? I'm going to get my hands all fucking messed up and everything for that. No, I'm not fucking. Right. Whoever declared that this was a true fact or whatever, prove it yourself. Until then, I'll wait until my next time when I just go through the arduous pain of removing tape from hair pieces. And I may even tape over tape, because I'll be cutting these smaller now to this size. And when I do that, I just want to sniff some of the mess. They hardly last. I mean, you need 10 of them. Buy 10 of these, okay? All gone, empty. How many mils is it? 250 mils, but you're spraying out huge amounts of it at a time. Yeah, there's a bit messy around the front here. This on this used old hairpiece. Yeah, I won't be doing a brush back look. There's curling going on here. Get my fingernail under there. Press it down again. My eyesight's, even with these glasses, is just not good enough to tell what the fuck's going on there. Yeah. I feel, compared to the last time I had this larger hairpiece on, where it was flopping around all around the edges, it's so nice to be able to just have no flap. There is a flap back here though, so brushing this way upwards, it's still hitting something. There is still a bit of flappage there. And on this side, there's still detectable difference in the brush. It is stopping and hitting the edge. And on the back, it definitely is a lot. So, but not much on the sides. So I'll continue to be careful not to brush upwards, which would be like a way of putting your fingernails onto the hairpiece and yanking it off. But I'll continue to work on getting the front hairline right so I can get a nice hairline, unlike this one, because as you know, this is a used old hairpiece with an experimental new glue application method. And there's curling and stuff going on. So for now, I'll just be satisfied with a fluff. I'll just do the fluff. The fluff is fine. And just a nondescript, just fluffiness at the front. And I'll work on this back section. But apart from that, I feel like I've found a stencil size that I like, which is hopefully going to be something I can maintain. And as I showed you, using this to get the edges is just too slow. So you definitely want to get the vacuum clippers. I'm sure you've all bought some now since all my promoting of it. I mean, without these, I'd be fucked. I'd have hair all over me and shit. They are awesome. Use the affiliate link, please. I'm gonna have some sort of income. And definitely get these for glue. If you want to continue using tape, if you always have used tape and you've always removed tape without ripping your hairpiece, send the information about how to do it. Not general, exact. Send the exact method, step 1. If you have less than 10 steps to it, it's probably not real. Better still, show a video, proof. Not before and after photos, that's a lie, that's fake news, whatever, right? Show it happening, show it lifting underwater or something. Not that I make videos that detailed, but fuck. Get the tape off this shit for me, will you? Thanks.